Good evening, guys, and welcome to tonight's live stream, Dio Tuesday, Diorama Dienstag in German. And today, as you can already see on my bench, we have a little diorama sitting here, which I will be actually working on tonight on this Tuesday episode. And as you probably realized, there was no episode yesterday because I wasn't around, and I don't want to do those review shows every week. I just want to have them on a regular basis, like every second or every third week. On Mondays, we'll be looking at those kits that I added to the stash or have still lying around the stash. And on some of the Tuesdays, we'll be doing some diorama work. I'm trying to come up with a schedule of frequently happening events so you guys as well as I can actually plan on when something's going to happen on my channel in the live stream department. As I said, tonight we are going to look at this little Dio piece that I actually came up with. I think it was on Saturday evening. I'm not entirely, yes, Saturday evening. I came up with this just out of boredom. I was bored to shits on Saturday night and I didn't know what to do, so I decided I need a Dio base for this Panzer III that I had sitting around for quite some time. And I had a bunch of Zvezda figures in winter gear that I wanted to incorporate in a diorama because I thought that they were pretty nice. So I decided, let's build a Dio base. I had this wooden base. Let's get those figures of the Dio for a second here. Had this wooden base sitting around, which I filled, and then I put a layer of actual concrete in there to flatten the surface before I could actually put ground cover on top. And I painted this with, I think, Vallejo surface primer, just so I had a primer coat underneath so the wood wouldn't show through and the concrete wouldn't show through. And then I covered the base with this product. This is a pre-mixed mud product, and I've shown this on my channel before, from an American company called Scenic Factory, and I love it. I really do. And once again, I have to say thank you to the Scenic Factory for supporting me in the past. I really appreciate that, and I love the product that they create. And I used other stuff from their company as well. I used this. This is Scenic Factory's Fine Fault Growth, which you can actually see back here in the front. Good evening, guys. Hello, Mr. Barkus, and hello to Russia. Actually, that's a new one. I don't know whether or not I had someone from Russia watching actually before, so hello there. And tonight we are actually going to look into adding some more snow to this Dio. On Saturday I only did the front part here and added some snow to the running gear of the tank. And tonight we are going to look at adding snow to the back here, where the mud has now dried. 2.5 days should be sufficient enough. And I have actually fixed the tank to the base already, so when I put it on the base and the mud was still wet, it created a nice bond between the tank and the base. So we cannot remove the tank, but we can of course work around, which I want to do because I want to incorporate it into the diorama. I don't want to have it hovering over the Dio. You might ask yourself, what are we going to use for snow? And I'm going to use this. This is Rust de Ranao vinylic mixture for snow simulation. And actually, someone who's in the chat right now, Mr. Barkus, actually told me about this because he used this in one of his videos on a figure base. And I was actually quite delighted with the results that he achieved. And as you can see, this is powder, which is a powder. And you have to mix it up in order for it to go on your diorama. And we're going to do this in a second. I'm just going to run through what you need. You need white glue. Yes, exactly, $50 mud. You need white glue. You don't need the expensive white glue like this, because this is very, very expensive white glue, but every brand out there should be good to go. You need water. Of course, good old tap water. And you need your snow powder, a little bowl where you can mix it in, old brush, maybe spatula, depending on what you want to do with it. You can also use smaller brushes if you like, but I recommend a bigger brush because, and you'll see this in a second, there's a bit of an issue with surface tension when you mix up that snow in the beginning. It will take a while before the snow actually starts to blend and before it actually starts to mush and look like snow. And then we're going to spread this on the Dio base. And what I have in mind right now is that I want to have a closed area of snow here, and then the further along we move to the back here, I want to have the snow become patchy and actually show some of the mud shine through and just like patches of snow. And of course we have the tracks here in the back, and I'm probably going to add some gloss to the track lines to simulate wetness, and of course we'll have some snow in there because there's snow on the tracks, so there would have been snow there, so we have to have some snow left in there. And then I want to have, like I said, some patchy snowy things, and we're going to look at those. And then if I have the opportunity to do so, I want to use this AK Interactive's Puddles acrylic liquid, which is basically still water just dyed with a brownish color. And yes, Seb, the powder is a powder, and no, you cannot snort it, so I'm sorry, Dutchie. Anyways, let's start with mixing some of our snow product. What we use for this is the powder, of course. You can use the spatula and just take four of those spatula. Yeah, shame on me. Shame on me for not knowing this and for not telling you. What you building? I'm building a diorama base. Actually, this diorama base. Actually, I'm not building the diorama base, but I am continuing to work on this Dio base for this Panzer III somewhere in Russia in 1943. Alright, snow, water, tap water, this is the way we stir the pot, stir the pot, stir the pot. This is the way. It's just for fun. Just for fun. No specific build. I had the Panzer III sitting around, and I decided I wanted to build a Dio base for it because I was bored on Saturday evening. And since there was no hangout, I just decided to build it. I blame you, Seb, for not having a hangout. Alright, that was actually probably not enough, but we can mix more snow up as we go along. Oh, okay. Then we add 1 drop of our wood glue here, and this is just for adhesion purposes because we want the snow to actually adhere to the surface of the Dio base. Alright, and it should look something like this. Like snow, basically. Alright, and then we take our Dio base, and I'll move this around so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. And we're going to start in this area right here with the application of our snow. And as you can see, all we need to do is just stipple it on. And like I said, I made the amount that I made wasn't enough, and I will have to make more. Yeah, I wasn't invited, Chalky. Probably your fault. You didn't want to have me. Alright, let's make more snow. That's not baking soda. This is from a company called Rust de Ranalgo. Something from Spain. My Spanish is not is not too good, so I'm sorry if I just butchered the name. But yes, but it might be similar to baking soda snow. Oh, it's okay. It's from Italy. I'm sorry. Mr. Barker's to the rescue. Like I said, he is the one that actually showed this to me on one of his videos, so yeah. And this is actually the problem that we get here in the beginning. As you can see, it starts clumping up. But you just need to stir it more and more, and it will dissolve, because this is a surface tension issue. You can add a little bit more water to make it a bit more to the consistency that we want it to be. Apparently there was no hangout GIF, at least I wasn't in there. Maybe there was one that I wasn't told about. Shame. And let's add a drop of glue. Not too much, because this will again change the viscosity of a snow. I bought the snow at the Zockel shop, a German modeling store, online store. They have a wide range of products if you want to look into acquiring some of the snow. This is where I got it, and this would be where to go. Again, this is actually a highly sought after product, because it was out of stock for quite some time at the Zockel shop, so I got lucky that they had it in. Actually, I need to fix some areas in the front here of the Dio where the snow started cracking on me the last time I did it, so just put some of the snow on top of the old snow here. And as I said, I want to get patchy in the front and have some of the groundwork show through, so gonna get patchier here in the back and allow for some of the groundwork to show through and shine through, because I like this effect, because I think it's realistic. Oh, damn it. That chalky. So as you can see, we're trying to blend this in, and I'm sorry I was quiet there for a second. No, I will not cut them down, Chalky. I like them, and I have to say this now, so you will be happy. When I was going to the university yesterday to pick up the diploma, I actually saw growth similar to the ones I have on here in real nature. So screw you, Chalky. They are realistic, and I'm gonna keep them the way they look. Then we use the smaller brush to add like small other areas of snow where we like didn't have snow in the first place, just to blend this together and have this look realistic. And as you can see, we are patchier in the back now, which I actually like. And in the front right here, where the tank is sitting, I want to blend it into the snow and have this. It's always important to not have your tank look as if it's flying over your dio, but actually sitting in your dio or on your dio and just be part of the dio. And that's a mistake or an issue that I've come across with many a diorama, that it always looks as if the tank is actually flying over the landscape on the dio piece, which, to be honest, you just don't want to have, because this tank weighs around 30 tons. And if this is driving along a muddy, snowy Russian steppe somewhere in the Leningrad, Kiev region, this will actually sink in quite a bit. So yes, this should actually be incorporated into the snow. And you guys can let me know if you guys have ever like built winter dioramas and what you guys thought were the challenges of building a convincing winter diorama in your opinions. Because I'm interested in hearing other modelers' issues, or not just issues, but ideas with winter. Chalky, leave the twigs alone. They look realistic to me. All right. Important thing. You want to clean your brush after you have done the snow, because otherwise the snow will just start to solidify around the bristles and you won't be able to use the brush ever again, which I doubt you want. So clean it, and water is a good way to clean it. Oh, right. Right. You tell it to someone else. You're making fun of me there. And my twigs! Leave them alone! You're just jealous that your twigs aren't as nice as my twigs. That sounds so wrong. Seb, that's not nice of you. Come on, that's not nice. I did not do this on purpose. And I'll leave you alone with my bench for just a second so I can go and clean them brushes thoroughly, because otherwise I'll ruin them and I don't want to. So you guys can actually look at the dial base for a second. I'll be right back. This is the boring part. Alright, I'm back. Now we have to tackle another different issue that we have with winter dioramas. A lot of people forget that if they have figures in their winter dios, there should be footprints. And there should be footprints on this dio piece as well, in the areas where the figures actually walk. So what you can do, if you don't want to use the figures that go on the dio in order to make footprints, is use old figures that you don't want anymore. So I'm going to do exactly this right now. I'm just going to make footprints with this dude. Try to clean them up. Yes, and wearing the right uniforms. I'm sorry, Chalky. I'm sorry. And I told you that much before. I did not want to sound like a rivet counter, and that's why I didn't tell you. Either you can live with that, or you can't. But stop bitching about it. Alright, and then just press the figure into the snow where you want the footprints to be. Alright, now, I like the patchiness of the snow in the back. I'm not entirely sure if I'll leave it like this or if I want to blend the tank a bit more on this side and similarly on the other side, but so far I really dig the look of this. And like I said, I have these 3 Zvezda figures that will go on this dio piece, as well as the commander, which I will have to paint, and we'll do this sometime else. I won't be painting figures tonight because I need to prime them first. But you want to have them have both snow on their gear, if it's a snowy scene like we have right here, and you want to have them have the same mud that your dio carries on them as well. So gotta keep in mind which products we used for the dio piece so we can then actually blend the figures with the dio base. Well, yes I do. Yes I do. And no dicks at other people that are not here on my live show. Do that on your hangouts. Not on my live show. Otherwise, I'll be made out to be a Nazi again. And I don't want to be. Because I'm a nice guy! Okay, and then sometimes you have areas like this, which you want to touch up a bit with a brush, where it looks a little unnatural, and just touch up with the brush. And then we can spread that snow somewhere else. Alright. I like the results, and I have treaded winter dioramas up to this point because I never was happy with the way I depicted the snow, and I quite like this now, and I quite like the fact that we have the patchiness in the back because some of the ground actually shows through, and I like this a lot. And I like the way in which the tank actually blends in with the dio base here with the snow. I need to touch this up just a little bit here around the tracks, I think. Have it blend in a bit more and maybe fill some spaces underneath the tracks just so it looks realistic. Let me just try and move this around so you guys can actually see what it looks like right now from the sides. From the top, let me just put this right here so you guys can actually see this, and then we'll be having this guy somewhere up here lying on the ground like so, actually shooting at someone, and this guy is probably going to be either here or somewhere here around him, and this guy who's carrying ammunition will actually be running in the cover of the tank. I actually have like, ouch, that was not the plan I had in mind. I actually like left a deep footprint in the mud where he will be running because he's carrying heavy equipment, so he will probably be a bit heavier than the other soldiers, so he would actually leave deeper imprints. Realism and stuff. And then of course I have this commander figure here, which I really like, who is wearing a headband, a turban, and I like him a lot. So yeah, he's going in there. The tank, I will be adding some snow to the horizontal surfaces, because if it snows like this and snow collects like this, there will be snow on the tank as well. So you want to make sure of that. If you're building a winter diorama with a tank in it with a lot of snow, you want to make sure that your tank actually has the snow to match the dio. Because the crews actually did not clear their vehicles of snow. That would have just taken too much time. They would clear the hatches, or actually the things that they actually needed to access, but other than that, they would just not care. Because they just didn't have the time to focus on this in the field of battle. Because, let's face it, they had Russians hunting them down, and they were on a mission to kill them, which war and stuff. And yeah, they just didn't care about snow. So let's just fix this growth here, because this actually just fell over, and I will not remove this so Chalky won't have his will. And actually I will be adding some snow to the growth as well, because the top areas of this would definitely be covered in snow as well. So yeah, this needs to dry now. So next up for this will be me trying to blend in the tracks and the tank to make it look uniform, to make it look as if this tank is actually heavy and actually a real tank that is having its weight and pushing down on the surface below. I might add a little bit more of the fall-winter vegetation, maybe have some run over fall growth in the back here where the tank has actually ran it over, and just have it broken off. That would probably add a nice element to this. And I will be painting the figures next, definitely, and I will be adding some snow to the top surfaces here. Other than that, I don't think I will be doing much to the dio base. I don't think a snow dio like this needs to have a massive amount of vegetation and a massive amount of things that grab your attention. You want to focus on the vehicle itself and on the snow effects. You want to make the snow effects and the mud effects of the wet, maybe frozen soil as convincing as possible. And if I were to start to add trees and bushes and all sorts of things, this would just start to look, I don't know, it would just start to draw the attention away from the snow and from the vehicle towards the vegetation. And I'm doing winter to not focus on vegetation. I'm going to do summer and spring and autumn to focus on nature and vegetation and all sorts of things. But winter, the focus should be on the vehicle and the rough conditions and snow and cold. And I think the less vegetation you have on your Dio piece, the colder it looks. I think this looks cold. I don't know about you, but I think this really looks cold. And I like the way in which the snow allows us to just pile it up and make it look like it's deep snow. And if you look here and look at this from the front, this actually looks like it's deep snow, right? At least I think so. And yeah, I like it. I hope you guys like it too. If you have any kind of insight or ideas of what I could change, let me know, please. Or ideas of what to add or do differently for future builds, because I'm learning as well at all times. And here's one thing that I will be touching up, and I just picked this up recently in a video Adam Mann did. I have wire cutters on this, and as you can see, I used the red brownish color for the handles, but I did not use the black for the darker red brownish color for the caps at the end, and I did not do it all the way to the front part, to the first nudge that is on the wire cutters. And from watching Adam's video, I know now that this is wrong, so I have to touch this up. And if Adam is watching this, I learned something by watching your video. Thank you, mate. He has some very, very interesting insights in his videos, so I can only recommend you guys watching them if you want to get some insight from a very, very knowledgeable fellow when it comes to German armor. Adam is very knowledgeable. And right now, I realize that my snow is turning yellow, and I don't know why. Nobody peed on this, but it looks like it's yellowing a bit. And this might be because of the mud product maybe not being 100% dry, and some of the moisture that might be in the underlying, in the depth of it, just being sucked up by the snow and turning this yellow. And if that is the case, I will probably have to go over this again once the snow that I have on now is dry, because I don't want this to look yellow. If it turns brownish, that might be okay, because it's not Snow White. Haha, snow is not Snow White. Oh God, did I just really say that? No, it's not a pure white color, so yes. I think that tonight's going to be a shorter episode than the last one, because while the snow is drying, I cannot do a whole lot with this diorama piece right now. But what I can do, and what I will do, is add some broken off and run over full growth here in the back, just so Chalky can get his pennies in a twist. I'll keep them nice and long. Just for you, Chalky. Keep them nice and long. Yes, Frank Zappa, don't eat the yellow snow. And you want to be convincing in displaying these run over. Actually, I think they should look the other way, because the tank comes this way, so they would be broken up the other direction. So that was just bad, right? Just there. It should be like so. Yeah, oh, like convincing to have this where the tank would have run over it, and just look, run over. Hey, Mike. Good evening. Glad you are here tonight. All right. Never mind. I'm going offline shortly, so you didn't miss anything. No, well. You missed something. Just finishing off, showing off some run over fall growth here in the back where the tank would have run it over, and bend it down, and just for you, here you go. This is the look that I went with for the back of the Dio piece here. For those of you who turned in a bit later, I will of course be having a review video, like a reveal video of this build once it's done, if I finish this before next week's or the week after. There will be two figures. There will be this infantryman, which will be lying right here. And there will be another infantryman next to him right there. So yeah, there will be two infantrymen there, and one infantryman will be running next to the tank here in the back, right there next to the tank. So yeah, there won't be anything up here because I want this area to just highlight the coldness of the scene with the deep snow. So this area is going to be empty, but I don't think that's an issue for me. I like the fact that there's some empty space that just highlights the coldness and that thing is not running. This is standing around right now. Brave dude being run around over by a tank. Jesus. Come on, Mike. Yeah, I know. No sound. No engine. Like exhaust fumes, though. Don't you see that? There's no exhaust fumes. Come on. Mike, I'm disappointed in you. No exhaust fumes. The tank has come to a halt. The infantry is right now resupplying ammunition with this dude who is running through the cold and not feeling all too well. And these two are actually spotting enemy infantry in the front and shooting them with their rifles, while the tank is sizing them up with its nice 3.7 centimeter gun and looking for enemy hideouts and anti-tank guns. So yeah, this is basically the scene I'm going with. Yes, I won't be going next on my diorama at shows, yes. Although I'm not sure whether or not I want to take this to a show, to be honest. But that'll... Oh, yeah, right. It's a 50 mil. I'm sorry. It's not a 3.7. Yeah. My fault. Yeah. Terrible me. Yeah, I like the scene too. I like the way it's turned out, and I like where this is going, and I hope that it's convincing to others as it is to me. So, yeah, I might be adding some more like wet effects to the patchy areas here where you can actually see the brown. But if you look closely, you can actually see, and now Mikey will hear this as well, the yellow snow. It's starting to yellow in this area right here. And no, I will not eat it. But there you go, some close-up of the way the mud and the snow interact there. Actually see the snow on the tracks there. What actually doesn't make sense to me right now looking at this is that the areas where the tracks are in the back are actually devoid of snow, so yeah, that just doesn't make much sense that there would be that much snow caught in our tracks. That is not very convincing right now. So yeah, we'll see what I can do about this once the first layer of snow is dry, because I will probably have to go over it again. Yeah, like I said, if this turns brown, I'm fine with it turning brown. This actually was an open-faced box. Actually, there was a cavity, like, that's without. This actually is some, I don't know, I bought this at a hardware store. I think this is a storage box, a wooden storage box. And I filled this with insulation foam, and then I covered it with a layer of concrete. Yes, concrete. And then I covered that with primer, and then I covered this with the mud. Which mud should be flowing through which snow? No, not the foam you sent me. No, this was German insulation foam that I used for this. German insulation foam. Actually, you can see some of the mud showing through the snow in the back here, chalky. In the front, this is very thick snow, very deep snow, so you can actually not see the ground. Because this is supposed to be like 10 to 15 centimeters of snow in the front, so no ground, no mud showing through 15 centimeters of snow in the scale. So, yeah. Yeah, if you look, there is mud in the track marks. I just show you. There you go. Is this okay or is this not okay for you? You tell me. Again, I'd like to thank the people at Cine Factory. This mud is going waste for me. I love it. I love it a lot. And it's so easy to use. And if you want to see me use it, go back. I have a tutorial on how to use it. And again, I want to mention this. This is great as well. This is the modeling snow that Mr. Barker's put me on, and I really dig this. And like I said, I might be using this to fill, like, to make puddles in the track marks. So we'll see about this. I'm not entirely sure though. So we'll see about that in the near future. Oh, damn it. That was actually quite easy. When I applied the mud and the mud was still wet, I just pressed the tank in to create the track marks, and then I just set it down into the mud and just let the mud dry with the tank on it, and then just it adheres to the mud naturally. So this basically is the mud holding the tank to the Dio piece. Yes, I will provide pictures of this, not just in the chat, but I will provide pictures of this on my Facebook page. For those of you who do not know my Facebook page, it's H Wood Modeling on Facebook. I would say it's rather firm. I'm not trying to yank this off now, because I would be afraid that I could actually tear apart the magic tracks. So on that note, I think we can finish tonight's episode after 45 minutes, because I have to let the snow dry now, and since this is a rather, I think, an hour or two long process, we're done for tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something about making snow on a Dio base. And I hope you guys like the look of this. And, if you have any suggestions or comments for me to maybe add to the Dio piece, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate each and every comment. Like I said, I'm open for suggestions. I'll see you guys in a second, and well, I'll see you guys around, not in a second. I see some other guys in a second. And on this note, this is Holland Modeling. Thank you guys for watching. Jesus Christ, I should just shut up right now. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now. See you guys.